Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you on here, and I hope you guys can try these mandalas and have a fun time doing it. So before we get started on the mandala design, I'm going to explain our tools. So the tools I use are color coded, so they have a color on the top of the tools. When you buy them off of Temu or Amazon, they usually just come clear. So first off, for the twirly tools, I do not use the green twirly for any of my tutorials, so you can set this one aside. As for the rods, the largest two rods, I, again, also do not use for any of my tutorials, but if you're doing like a bigger project on your own time, then of course you can use these. So now to help you understand what I have color coded, you can lay them out biggest to smallest. The biggest one, which is the green one, next size down, we have it marked as the blue stick. And then next size down after the blue is the white stick. After the white stick, it's the yellow stick. And then we have the pink stick. And then last but not least, trying to pick them up, is the black stick. And then of course we have the twirlies. These are self-explanatory. They are color coded already. You can color code them yourself. We use just nail polish on the tops of the tools. We can get started with the design now. Okay, so before we get started on our plate, we're gonna practice a couple designs and techniques that we're gonna use. So for the first technique, we're gonna use the pink stick and the pink stylus tool. You're going to dip the pink stick into the paint, and you don't wanna dip just the very tip like this. You want to over dip about this much. So don't be scared to get a good amount of paint on there. Then you'll place a dot on your sheet of paper, and then with the pink stylus smaller end, you're going to drag the paint down to make a teardrop.
It takes a little practice.
Okay, moving on to the next design, we're gonna use the same tools. Using the pink stick, we'll dip it into the paint and place a dot. Then we're gonna take the pink stylus, bigger end, dip it into the paint and place a dot above, kind of like a snowman with a very small head. Then you'll switch to the smaller end, dip into the paint, start next to the small dot that we made, and then you're going to drag the paint down and around on both sides. Okay, moving on to the next design, we're gonna practice doing little stars. So we're gonna use the blue stylus and the pink stylus. We're gonna start with the blue stylus, bigger end. You'll dip into the paint and place a dot. Then with the pink stylus, smaller end, you're just going to drag out 5 points. I like to think of it as 1 going straight up for a head, 2 slightly out for feet, and then 2 sideways for little arms. And you got a little star. Okay, and the last thing we're gonna practice, we're gonna use the pink stylus, smaller end. You're going to dip in the paint, and we're just going to do small, thin little drags, and you wanna try to get these nice and close to each other without them actually touching and blending the paint. Small end, small end. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started on our plate. The first thing we're gonna do is we're just going to place dots around this heart outline. So we're gonna use the white stylus bigger end with the white paint. And we're just going to place dots next to each other, just all along the inside of the outline.
With the bigger end?
Yes, with the bigger end. And make sure before you place each dot that you're re-dipping into the paint so that all the dots are the same size.
Here we go.
Exactly.
Okay, next we're going to do these big white teardrops here because we need to make sure they dry so that we have, so we can overlap them. So we're gonna use the white stick and the pink stylus and also the pink stick. So we're gonna start with the bigger teardrop. We're gonna start with the white stick. You'll dip it into the paint and place a dot. If you want to kind of think of it like this hump of the heart, kind of finish it off as a circle, and you want to place it in the center of that circle. Then we'll use the pink stylus bigger end, and you're going to drag the paint into a teardrop shape.
Pink small end?
Big end.
Oh, big end. And point it out to the diagonal out to the.
Yes, yes. And we'll do that on both sides.
Small end of the pink? Or the big end? Oh, I went the wrong way.
Big end, sorry. Then we're gonna move on to the two slightly smaller teardrops using the pink stick and the pink stylus. Same idea, you'll dip the pink stick into the paint and you'll put it next to our bigger teardrop on both sides. Don't put it at the same height level, you want to do it a bit lower. And then again, using the pink stylus bigger end to draw it out into a teardrop.
So we're still using the big end of the pink stylus?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Like teardrop.
Yeah, leave it to me. You see. Remember what I told you the other day? I will get pink everywhere. Pink stick. I've already done that. More than one paper down.
Okay, now we're gonna get started on the mandala that's in the center of the plate. we're gonna use the white stick. You'll dip it into the paint, and this is gonna be our center dot. So you're gonna place it right on that mark that you have on your plate. Next up, we're gonna use the pink stylus, smaller end. You'll dip it into the paint, and we're gonna start our first round of dots around. So we're going to place 2 dots right across from each other, like this. Then we're gonna find the center of those 2 off to the side like that, and then 1 more across from that one, so that we get these 4 dots north, south, west, east. This will help us start off symmetrical. Once you have those 4 dots in each of these gaps, you're going to place 3 more. Next up, we're going to use the pink stylus again, bigger end with the white paint. And we're going to do another round of dots. So these dots are going to go above the gaps of the row we just did. So not straight above the dots like this, but above the gaps.
Did you say bigger end?
Yes, bigger end. Next step, same concept, we're just going to use a bigger size. So we're going to use the white stylus, bigger end. Same thing, placing these dots above the gaps.
Get this one right.
Okay, we're going to do one more round of dots the same way we've been doing. We're going to use the black stick, again placing them above the gaps. Okay, next step, we're going to use the pink stick, and we're going to place these dots above the gaps, but we're going to do every other gap. So you...
Every other gap?
Every other gap, yes. So you should end up with 8. Next up, we're going to use the pink stylus, we're gonna use the bigger end first. Dip in the paint. Then you're going to put a dot above, switch to the smaller end, dip into the paint, and drag the paint like we practiced.
Is it the small end around the sides?
Yes.
So big in for the dot, small for the side.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, moving on to the next step. We're gonna use the same tool, the pink stylus. We're gonna use the bigger end, and we're going to place 3 dots above the design we just made in like a little pyramid. Then you'll switch to the smaller end, dip in the paint, and do another drag on each side.
Here we go. That's great.
Okay, so big dot and little dot. 3 big dots. So just do another drop.
Okay, moving on to the next step. We're gonna use the black stick and the pink stylus. You're going to make a dot with the black stick, and then with the pink stylus smaller end, you're going to drag that.
Squeeze it in there. In some cases, yeah. Smaller.
Oh, with the thin or the?
Smaller end. Smaller end.
Smallest end or bigger?
Yes. Okay, next up, we're going to do the stars. So we're gonna use the blue stylus and the pink stylus. We're going to use the bigger end of the blue stylus. You're going to place a dot right above our teardrops. Then with the pink stylus, smaller end, we're going to draw out those 5 points to make little stars.
And what size on the pink one, the bigger the little? The leave room for the biggest.
The smaller end on the pink and the bigger end on the blue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going above big ones. Okay. All right.
Next up, we're going to add the little details on these teardrops that we did. So we're going to use the pink stylus, bigger end. You're going to start next to our smaller teardrops, again a bit lower, and you're going to do a small drag next to it. Then you'll switch the smaller end and do a slightly smaller one right underneath that one.
Well, at least we're all in the same boat.
So bigger end and then smaller end?
Yes.
For the different ones? Bigger end.
Stop. You're killing me. Jeez.
And once you get those little drags, you're going to use the blue stylus, bigger end for one big dot, right where all those points meet, and then smaller end, 2 little dots on the side.
The bigger blue one?
Just teasing.
Okay, next up, we're going to use the pink stylus, smaller end. We're going to dip once, and you're going to place a dot right in the middle of our teardrop. Then you'll dip again, just once, and place dots around. Dip one more time, and do the other side around. And we're going to do this for both sides and for these little ones on the side too. So dip once,
The big one once?
go around.
Oh, wait.
All with the smaller end.
Okay. Even on the first one?
Yes, even the first one.
Okay, here goes nothing. All with the smaller one. I'm sure we're
Okay, next we're gonna grab a Q-tip, and you wanna get it wet just a little bit. Actually, you don't even have to get it wet, and we're just gonna go along the border very gently, and we're gonna erase that marker.
Can we touch the paint yet?
So it should be dry, but still be gentle because it's very fresh, but you should be able to go along and wipe away that red. Okay, next up, we're gonna take the pink stylus, bigger end, and you're going to start in between the gaps, and you're going to dip once and place 4 dots straight out like that. And we're gonna do every other gap like this. So you're gonna place 4 dots out. You want to do the sides here along and then all of this, but you're going to stop at this very center part. We're gonna leave this part open because then you want to watch how much room you have so that you get good spacing in between there, because not all of us might have an even number amount of dots where we could do every other one. Like, I don't have an even number of dots. I counted earlier and I have 91. So I won't be able to do perfectly evenly every other one. So you're gonna stop at this center section, and then there you're going to place 1 in the center, and then see if you can place 2 like this, or if you can just place 2, and you want to space it out evenly so that you get the spacing nice. Okay?
Could you show us the blue one again? Oh.
So what, at the point, you're gonna do one straight down the point, on the very bottom point?
It depends. It depends. Yeah, however it turns out, yeah.
Oh, I see, because it's not the, I see what you're talking, okay, got it.
Moving on to the teardrops, we're going to use the blue stylus and the pink stylus. Blue stylus, bigger end, you'll place a dot slightly higher than where our dots end, and then you'll
It's the timers in the way they go.
slightly higher than where the dots end, and then you'll use the pink stylus, smaller end,
So.
to make
blue
that
big
teardrop.
end, you do the blue big end,
Mm-hmm.
and then the smallest pink.
Yes.
Gotcha. In between all the things. I'm gonna practice those things. Practice those things.
we're gonna move on and start doing the overlapping dots with the with our color paint. So we're gonna start on these teardrops that we did here. We're gonna use the pink stylus smaller end. So for the big teardrop right in the middle, you're going to start in the middle, and you're going to drag your color paint down the center.
Smallest end?
Yes. And then if my paint will cooperate, excuse me.
Down to the bottom, you said?
Yes. There we go. And then you're going to do 2 more to the side. And you're going to put a little dot right above each of them, like this.
All with the smallest side?
Yes, all with the smaller side. And then for the small teardrops on the side, you're going to do just 2 drags next to each other with 1 dot, like that. Then with the bigger end of the pink stylus, you're just going to overlap this dot here. That's right underneath our teardrops. Just 1 dot. Okay, moving on, we're gonna overlap the dots on the mandala. So we're gonna use the pink stick. And we're gonna overlap the center dot just by placing a dot right in the middle.
What stylus? I'm sorry.
The pink stick. Then we're gonna use the pink stylus smaller end, and we're going to overlap the second row of dots. And we're not gonna overlap them straight in the center of the dot. You're going to face that overlap towards the center of the mandala.
Oh.
So it should be slanted in towards the center.
Kind of like the bottom of the dot, or?
Just making it face into the center of the mandala. The next row of dots is the same concept, just bigger size. We're going to use the pink stylus bigger end, and once again overlapping facing towards the center of the mandala.
The next row?
Yep.
We were very conservative with that.
Next row of dots, we're going to use the white stylus bigger end. Same thing, facing towards the center of the mandala, but we're also going to place dots in the center of the teardrops.
Okay.
Next up, we're going to use the blue stylus, bigger end. And we're going to overlap these bigger dots, again facing towards the center. Okay, last step for this mandala portion, we're going to use the pink stylus, smaller end. And we're going to overlap these 3 dots like this.
Center this time?
Yes.
Holy smokes.
Did you say center?
Yeah. Thank you. You're so smart.
Okay, last step, we're going to use the white stylus, bigger end, and we're just going to place a dot in the middle of the teardrops that we have going along the edge of the plate.
I can do that.
And this is the last thing, right?
Yep.
You're the dragon, yahoo!
And once you guys have finished overlapping, you guys are all done with your plate.
Can I see the
Same time.
bigger end of the pink?
I know, right?
Sorry, I pressured you.
Did you make her mess up?
I did, it's my fault. She was feeling the peer pressure.
This is our last thing.